Good morning, all of you beautiful people. I hope you guys are all doing really good today. Here I am over at the devil's website, known as CERN. The headline, Icarus lands at Fermilab. This is a time lapse of the Fermilab Muon G2 ring being installed and prepped from June 27th, 2014 to June 5th, 2015. And that's Muon, spelled M-U-O-N. And you can Google in the Muon Collider. By the way, this came out recently, July 28, 2017. Alright. Over the last 6 weeks, Icarus has traveled across land and sea. Yesterday, the neutrino detector finally arrived at Fermilab near Chicago, Illinois. That's right, you guys. There are CERN-type colliders right here in the United States doing the same thing as CERN over in what part of the world I don't know. I can't think of it at the moment. Switzerland? Geneva? Okay. So anyway, same type of detector. Or collider, sorry. After 6 weeks on the road, the 2 Icarus modules have finally arrived at Fermilab near Chicago, Illinois. Okay, there it is. The Italian-made detector will be put to work. Now, this article, they're going to tell you, how wonderful they are, just like CERN does. But we all know CERN's a very destructive, evil force. That Icarus, its sister company, is just as evil. So let's hear how good it is for us and know better. The Italian-made detector will be put to work, along with the two others on the Fermilab site, not to capture and inspect one of the most enigmatic particles in the cosmos, neutrinos. To capture and inspect one of the most enigmatic particles in the cosmos, neutrinos. Neutrinos. Can I have some dip with my neutrinos, please? are among the most abundant particles in the universe, but little is known about them because they rarely interact with ordinary matter. Well, there you go. That basically neutrinos are somewhat irrelevant. Anyways, so the Icarus detector will use Fermilab's neutrino beam to measure the property of the 3 types of neutrinos that have been seen. A search for a long theorized but never detected cousin. We've seen hints that there might be a 4th kind of neutrino, but we haven't detected it yet, said Fermilab scientist Angela Fava, a member of the Icarus collaboration. The Icarus experiment will join our suite of neutrino suite of neutrino detectors to help us resolve this long-standing open question of whether there is indeed a 4th member of the neutrino family. I don't know, I'm 50-something years old, and I've never spent 1 second thinking about a neutrino family. doesn't seem to affect me or anything. I don't know. I'm not claiming to be a scientist, but you know, we all know these guys are deceptive people. Okay. The Icarus experiment was designed and built at Gran Sasso Laboratory in Italy, and started its career as a neutrino hunter in 2010. In 2014, scientists transported Icarus to CERN for updating and refurbishment, and in June packaged and shipped to Fermilab in Chicago, where it will start the next phase of its life. That means they're going to start drilling deep holes into the United States. Okay? Preparing to do more damage, I'm sure. Over the last 6 weeks, Icarus has traveled across land and sea by truck, barge, and ship. On the outside of the two modules look like extra-large shipping containers, but inside the walls are lined with incredibly delicate panels of wires. The wire planes look like enormous harps and are very fragile, says Andrea Zaney, a researcher at CERN. We worked for several months to prepare for the shipment and ensure that our detectors arrive in the U.S. safely. They say safety. See, they can't even spell right. Okay? If you're an alleged scientist, you better learn how to spell properly. Alright. Okay. However, you can never control everything, especially the passage across the sea. Zaney and his colleagues attached impact sensors onto the shipping containers to measure if their irreplaceable detectors met any unexpected turbulence during their journey to the United States. From CERN, the modules traveled by truck to Basel, where they were lifted onto a barge and then cruised down the Rhine River to Antwerp, Belgium, and then into the Atlantic. Luckily, the ocean was calm during the 2 week. Well, yeah, that's because they control the weather. They controlled the weather, so they needed calm seas. Alright, that's where weather manipulation comes in handy. Luckily, the ocean was calm during the two-week voyage of the Gulf of St. Lawrence in Quebec, Canada. From there, Icarus snaked its way up the St. Lawrence River, drifted through Montreal, traversed the Great Lakes, and finally docked in Burns Harbor, Indiana, on Lake Michigan. The last leg of the journey was a slow 3-day drive to Fermilab. Okay, so this one. Sorry, okay. Still, the Devil's website. CERN's American sibling, Fermilab, turns 50. And this was posted June 2017. Okay? Now take a look at these pictures. Looks a lot like CERN's Hadron Collider, but actually I believe it's the Muon Collider. So let's see what this article has to say. 50 years ago, physicists in the United States established a new laboratory, and with it a new approach to carrying out frontier research in high-energy physics. It began in the 1960s, when Cornell physicist Robert Rathbun Wilson saw early plans for a new accelerator in the United States. Alright. To rival Brookhaven National Laboratory in New York and CERN in Switzerland. He considered them too conservative. unimaginative, and too expensive. So Wilson began a modest yet proud man. Oh, being a modest yet, something tells me he's not so modest. Proud, no, egotistical. Though he could design a better accelerator for less money and let his thoughts be known. By September 1965, the year of my birth and the month of my birth, he had proposed an alternative, innovative, less costly, approximately $90 million cheaper than the original design, and it was approved. This period coincided with the Vietnam War. That's an interesting connection. So the U.S. Congress hoped to contain costs, yet the discovery of the omega baryon particle at Brookhaven in 1964 meant high-energy physicists felt that a new high-energy accelerator was crucial to exploring new physics. Simultaneously, physicists were expressing frustration with the geographic situation of U.S. high-energy physics facilities. Okay. Here's the groundbreaking, 1969, for the 200 GeV synchrotron, and I believe that's another collider. Okay. Against this backdrop arose a major movement to accommodate physicists in the center of the country and offer more equal access. Columbia University experimental physicist, experimental, okay? Doesn't mean he's a real one. Leon Lederman championed a truly national laboratory that would allow any qualifying proposal to be conducted at a national rather than a regional facility. In 1965, a consortium of major U.S. research universities, University Research Association, Inc., was established to manage and operate the accelerator laboratory for the AEC and its successor agencies, Energy Research and Development Administration, and of course the Department of Energy, and address the need for more national laboratories. Oh, yeah, like we need more laboratories, okay? Alright. Today, Wilson Hall, the Central Laboratory Building. I guess that's it. Kind of a pretty building, huh? The Central Laboratory Building is the heart of the 6,800-acre Fermilab site, following an actual design competition among the DUSAF firms. It was built between 1971 and 74. The design was acknowledged in 1975 with an award from the Secretary of American Registered Architects, and the building was named for Robert Rathbun Wilson on September 18, 1980. Anyways, okay. Following a nationwide competition organized by the National Academy of Science, in December 1966, a 6,800-acre site in Weston, Illinois, around 50 kilometers west of Chicago, was selected. Another suburban Chicago site, north of Weston in affluent South Barrington, had withdrawn when local residents feared that the influx of physicists would disturb the moral fiber of their community. President Lyndon Johnson signed the bill authorizing funding for the National Accelerator Laboratory on the 21st of November, 1967. Thanks, Lyndon B. Science dedicated to human rights. Boy, just ponder that sentence for a minute. Okay? Science dedicated to human rights. Well, so far, the science that's coming out nowadays is dedicating to destroying human rights. But remember where this article came from, CERN. Okay. The formation of the laboratory shall be a positive force, like hell it will, toward open housing and make a real contribution towards providing employment opportunities for minority groups. Oh, aren't they sweet? Alright. It wasn't easy to recruit scientific staff to the new laboratory. In open cornfields and farmland with few cultural amenities, that picture lies in stark contrast to today, with the lab encircled by suburban sprawl encouraged by highway construction and development by a high-tech corridor, and neighbors including Bell Labs, AT&T, and Amoco. Wilson encouraged people to join him in his challenge, promising higher energy and more experimental capability than originally planned. He and his wife, Jane, imbued the new laboratory with enthusiasm and hospitality, just as they had experienced in the isolated setting of wartime era Los Alamos, while Wilson carried out his work on the Manhattan Project. Alright, so these are just some pictures. I don't need to go over the article, the entire article. Basically, point made. CERN has a sister company named Fermilab, and their collider is not a hadron collider; it's a muon collider. Okay, and I'll show some pictures of that in a minute. They intended. Oh, right here. Wilson and colleagues worked on the social consciousness of the laboratory in March 1968, a time of racial unrest. Yeah, a racial unrest that the government created in the U.S. They released a policy statement on human rights. They intend to seek the achievement of its scientific goals within a framework of equal employment opportunity and of a deep dedication to the fundamental tenets of human rights and dignity. Well, I don't know about you, but I think they already took away our dignity, as well as our human rights. Okay? Formation at the laboratory shall be a positive force. No, it will not. Okay? It's going to be negative. It's going to have a very bad outcome. So let's show some pictures. Okay? So I googled in Fermilab and CERN muon colliders. Now, you tell me. That look familiar? Look familiar? Oh, that's an Atlas detector. Okay, let's see. Fermilab, right here. Let's see. Oh, here we go. They do say CERN because it's the sister company. Hold on. Well, as you can see, okay, this is Fermilab, and it's a Tevatron collider. Okay, so what do we have now? We have the muon collider, we have the Tevatron collider, and over in Switzerland we have the Hadron collider. All colliding particles. So this is muon. Fermilab muon department right here. Recognize that building? Let's see. Collider detector at Fermilab. Okay. Here's where it's located. Anyways, you got the point. Here it is. Muon's big moment. That's what they've got to say. April 2017. Fermilab experiments to measure muon magnetic moment. More precisely, might reveal unknown virtual particles. Okay. Anyways, I just wanted to show you these pictures. Let's see this one. There you go. There you go. Well, that's kind of an odd picture. But as you can see, CERN is alive and destructive in the United States. And they have been. Alright? Well, actually it just got here. Icarus just got here. But these other ones, like the Muon, Collider and the Tevatron, those have been here in the United States for a little while. So, on that note, dedicated to human rights. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful weekend coming up. I might be taking the next couple days off of making YouTubes because of my health. I have been suffering chronic fatigue. It's probably all the colliders colliding particles making me sick. But so I sleep a lot lately. So if you don't hear any videos from me for a while, that's why. Other than that, thank you again for stopping by and watching. And everybody have a wonderful day. Peace.